My name's Kristen Pendleton, and I was a stroke patient at Johnson Willis Hospital. It was just like any other day, and we were sitting on the couch, my husband and I, enjoying dinner and kind of just relaxing for the evening. And as I was sitting there, my leg and my foot started kind of falling asleep, and just an odd feeling, and it kind of started moving up my leg. And so I thought that was a little weird, but kind of shook it off. And then it started my hands up through my arm. That's when I was like, well, this is a little different. So I got up and walked around, realized I was having trouble really walking and putting any weight on my left side, and then my coordination just trying to grab things or even put my socks on. I kept pushing it off, and then that's when I came across actually a blog, and it was a 34-year-old male, athletic, completely healthy, and he showed very similar signs to what I was going through. And it ended up, he had a stroke. Reading that is kind of what put the light bulb, and I was like, okay, we're going to the hospital, and if they think I'm crazy, that's okay. I just want to get checked out. When we knew it was time to come to the hospital, to the ER, I'm very thankful that we went to Johnson Willis.
Time is the most important thing. If there is a stroke symptom that you are noticing in a loved one or in yourself, don't second guess it. Come into the hospital, be evaluated, and you may find that you're not having a stroke, it's something else, but it's better to be safe than sorry, because the effects of stroke can be devastating.
I checked in at the kiosk and put my symptoms, and then one of the nurses had called me over and did some basic tests. She could tell something was going on, and then she had me smile, and then looked over at one of the other nurses and said, I think we have a code neuro. And I was rushed back right away. I feel like within 5 minutes I was in a CT scan, checking things out. And I think at that time it was just completely surreal. Like, it was a complete out-of-body experience. Like, I'm too young for this isn't for me, this isn't happening. A nurse or a doctor's gonna walk in and be like, you're okay, and you can go home now. But that's when I got to speak with a neurologist, and he did some additional testing and said, I think it's time to start the medication. I was in the neuro ICU for 2 days, and then I was in kind of like a step down for a day. So it's a blur, a lot of it, but a lot of testing to make sure that my coordination was coming back and things were getting better after the medication. So things have changed a lot. I've learned to kind of slow down a little more and take time for myself, time for my family, and I really reflect and value a lot more, just the little things that are more important.
My name is Beverly Hill, and I was a stroke patient at Johnson Willis Hospital. I was going home in a country road, and all of a sudden, the tires on my car just started shaking. In my head, I was bouncing along on this road, but I had enough sense to say, you have to pull over. A man saw that I was in trouble, so he came over to help me. He called 911, and one of the people that was on the rescue squad was a man that goes to my church, and he said we're going to take her to Johnson Willis. I got in the ambulance, and then I just fell off to sleep.
The most important thing in management of ischemic stroke is how quickly you can get to the hospital, or you can get to a place where they can do rescue procedures to bring the blood flow back to normal. When a stroke patient comes in through the door of the emergency room, we take them straight to the CAT scan machine. From the CAT scan machine directly to this room right here, we do a special scan to see where the damage is and how much the damage has affected the brain, and whether the damage is permanent, or by opening up the blood vessels we can recover a large part of her brain. You can see the tube right here that we put in there that allows us to suction or remove the clot from the brain. And in her case, the blood vessel is here and it's open to here, but there is nothing going up, and there are no blood vessels going up into the brain. This is after my initial pass with that suction catheter, which is sitting right here. And what you see here is that we now have reestablished excellent blood flow to the entire left side of the brain and through the middle over here as well. Okay, so now we have what we call complete reperfusion of the brain.
When I woke up, my left side was weak. My arm was curled. I couldn't speak. I said, well, I'm just gonna fight. And so I did. It took me about 2 weeks to be able to say my name. And so now I can talk. It took me longer to be able to have my hand be opened, but now it has been. I also went back to playing the piano at church. So I am doing well. I have 2 wonderful boys, 3 lovely grandchildren. I have friends, I have a life. And yes, I'm happy that I can be here and be part of that for longer.